black coffee.
This is the Covoya Coffee Podcasting Network. Coffee people talking to coffee people about coffee and things coffee adjacent. This episode of Coffee Memo with Rob Stephen is brought to you by Covoya Specialty Coffee, where coffee is always a collaborative voyage. Welcome to Coffee Memo with Rob Stephen, a podcast where we talk about coffee industry news and current events. This is episode 20, recorded on June 3rd, and the topic is the moving market and the T word, which is back in the news. The T word stands for tariff. So, Rob, this is going to be one of those episodes where, first of all, we should say it's Wednesday, June 3rd.
Yes.
Because the market is marketing and the news is newsing.
Indeed, it is indeeding.
We've been able to say each day this week, at the end of each day this week, we've been able to say we just had the lowest prices of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And not only that, the White House is using the T word again. So what do you have to say for yourself, Rob?
First, as is usual, it's all my fault. So we'll start there. I find that diffuses the problem usually and gives me a chance to actually talk. It's been an interesting week, and it hasn't really been a bad one in that we've had price movement down, which I think is great for roasters, and is generally following the predictions that we've made. And I'm not saying that to say, hey, we were right, but in terms of we looked at all the fundamentals and we said there's a lot of coffee coming and coffee moving, and weather's not a problem, and things are sort of falling in line, and so as a result, the market is moving in the direction that you would expect to see it move.
Right.
Having said that, there's still plenty of opportunity between now and the end of the year for it to rise back up again.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a bit.
Historically, this is prices are still high, but now high prices look like high prices have looked at other high price peaks.
Correct. Yeah.
So it's like 77, 86, 97, 2011. Very similar look.
I like that flex where you just named all the high price years. I couldn't do that. That was good. So anyway, I think that we still have a long time before the coffee in Brazil gets delivered to the U.S. There's still things that could happen. And in between now and then, there will continue to be less and less coffee available. So there continues to be the opportunity for prices to react to that squeeze. And so caution is warranted. And we'll talk a little bit about how I would think about that in terms of exercising that caution. But I did want to talk about the T word, which is back in our lexicon this week. So for those of you in the very small list of people that got a nice surprise over the last week or two, they started processing tariff refunds.
Huh.
So CBP had a portal that they opened, not into another dimension, but just into a spreadsheet where you were able to submit your claims. And basically we, along with every other importer that I can imagine, put every tariff we ever paid, we put it into the portal.
And that was a pretty simple process.
We have smart people here at Covoya, so that I was thankful for. But so we put all of those in, and then we got, after lots of silence, we got a random small amount back out. So we just it was like, we got all your entries, thank you. One or two little quibbles with this or that, but it was like basically fine, silence, and then like 5% of them, we got the money back.
Well, was there any explanation?
No, just sort of doing it in phases, and these are the ones we picked for phase one. And I was like, you've got a very well-used dartboard there, because I don't know how else you did this. But anyway, so we got a small amount of money back, went through, processed all those, and issued credits or refunds to the clients that had been associated with those tariffs, because everything is matched one-to-one.
Okay.
So an entry summary is related to a container, and the coffees in that container are related to sales, and sales were charged tariffs, and it came back.
So that 5%, we could tie that all the way back to an initial purchase?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Because if I haven't mentioned it before, we have very smart people.
Very smart people, we do.
Which I'm very, very thankful for. And if you're listening, thank you. And so we did that, and that was great. And we've been waiting for round two to drop not knowing whether it'll be another small amount or a big amount or whatever. But yesterday morning, in AP was a news announcement of two things. So there's a guy in charge of CBP, and I forget his name, but he's the appointee who's in charge of it.
Right.
He's the one that the federal judge said, get your act together and find a way to get these tariffs refunded. And he said, I don't have the system for that. And he said, sure you do. And then he came back and said, well, actually I don't. Let me show it to you. And he gave him some time to get it right. And now he's calling him back before him and saying, where's everybody's money? And the administration said, you don't get to talk to him anymore. We're claiming executive privilege. And
wow.
And on top of that, we're filing an appeal on the whole decision. And so we're going to stop refunding money until it works through the appeals process.
Right.
So sorry, that's where we are right now. And it's very, very frustrating for everybody involved and out of our control, obviously. But that's not the point of this. It's just more of to bring everyone into the same set of circumstances, right? I mean, and there really was no rhyme or reason to the coffee tariffs that they paid back. So hard to know if they start them up again, in what order they will do them, how long it will take. We've seen some appeals get dismissed very quickly. We've seen some take a very, very long time. On top of that, there's another piece of news that got my attention this morning when I read it. And then when I read the whole thing, my heart rate went back down. They're seeking to do another round of tariffs, this time based on forced labor.
Yeah, if you import goods that they're from forced labor.
Yeah.
We in all of our moral superiority.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so that seems to be working its way through the system. I don't know if, I think there's some hoops they have to jump through to get that implemented, but I've already read that coffee is going to be exempted. So assuming that holds true, we can all. So
that would mean that regardless of the perception of what coffee producing countries may or may not be importing, they will be exempt in terms of coffee.
Coffee coming into the United States will be exempt from tariffs.
Okay.
Under any scheme.
As far as we know today.
As far as we know today.
Yeah.
On June 3rd, 2026. And also, if I haven't mentioned yet, we have very smart – anyway. So
and I just want to follow up a little bit and say that and this is probably obvious, but all those smart people have zero hesitation on making sure people get back what they deserve. Yeah. There's no hesitation on our part here.
So that's the news flash for the day, right? So let's go back to this falling market and what you as a roaster should do. And so I'll start off by saying I'm not going to answer that question, right? But what I can do is talk, as we usually try to do here, about how to think about it, right? So I've been doing this a long time, and I've talked to lots of roasters over a period of more than 18 years. And most of them have some gambling streak at heart.
Right.
Right. Or I've often called it the smarty pants streak, right? So it's like I'm the smartest person in the room, and I know when the bottom will be, and that's when I will strike like a cobra and get the lowest price possible. No, you won't. One of you will. There's somebody out there who's going to email me at the end and go, I got that bottom trade, right?
Yeah.
And great. I would love to get that email. Thank you. But in general, most people will miss it because that's the way that it works. And it's not your fault. It's just the way that the system tends to work. Right.
That part's not your fault.
Yeah.
There may be other things that are your fault.
But the fact that you cannot accurately predict the bottom is not your fault.
Right.
It's unpredictable. So the thing I want everyone to sort of take a minute and think about is the same thing we said when the price was on the way up, which is at what point does it become in the range of where you can comfortably do business and consider very heavily making some kind of action when you're within your predefined range, which I hope is predefined and you're not revising it on the fly.
Right.
Right. So this sort of price stability versus price prediction is this trench that roasters fall into, where they say, I can do better and I don't want to do worse than my competitors are doing. So I'm going to just keep waiting. But they're not waiting with a defined outcome in mind. Like if it gets to this level, I'll hit. That's okay. But I just think it can go lower. Not okay.
Yeah, hope is not a strategy.
Yeah. And I would say that unless you're, running a prop book someplace, you probably don't have enough information to make that call. So I think that I'm just saying here as a sort of a public service announcement that you should look at the market through the lens of your operating budget and your cost of goods requirements and your forward forecast, and not on it hasn't hit red in 7 spins. It's got to hit red next spin.
You do have enough information to make that decision. It's information about your business.
Yeah.
You've got that number. If you don't know that number, there's people who could help you with it.
Yeah. But that's your job right now is to figure that out, because it is a falling market and everyone's talking about it. And so it's just as sort of fraught as it was on the way up.
Yeah.
There's more emotion in the way up because you're like, this is costing me money. But on the way down, people hesitate because they think acting too early will cost me money. And there is some truth to that. I mean, if the market's falling very, very rapidly, I mean, obviously, yeah. But once it's, these things tend to, they fall down long stairs. It's like if it hits one stair and then it stays there for a second, then it hits another one and it hits another one. And it's like the problem is you don't know where the floor is. So each one of those sort of plateaus is an opportunity to examine it and go, this works for me.
Yeah.
Right. And we're seeing some of that from some of the sort of mature players, right? So,
yeah, that's a good point. Experience is acting.
Yeah. And I think smart people tend to do these things in phases, right? So they don't commit the whole piece of business on just one day, right? They say, okay, I'm going to buy into this fall as much as you would buy into a rally, right? And everyone has to do what works for them. You notice I haven't set a single C price here. I haven't set a number, right? Because that's not what we're about.
That's
here.
not the point. Huh?
Yeah. The point is in a falling market, looking at the momentum of the market and deciding that you are going to act when it's in the best interest of your business and not from a perspective of it could go lower. That's my advice, my plea.
I think if they've been listening to Coffee Memo, they played that game already a long time ago. They sat down and decided, here's our range.
Yep.
This is what we're hoping for in terms of making a move. So they already know. They're not trying to figure it out right now. It's okay if they are.
Yeah.
But
yeah. And I would also say, as I said on the way up, talk to a lot of people, right? So talk to your trader, talk to other people who you think, know something about the market, get your news diet up, right? And remember, we're also dealing in a much bigger macro environment. We've got a couple of wars on. We've got oil crisis. We've got a fertilizer crisis brewing. We've got El Nino. It's never a dull moment here in coffee, right? And so the fall might turn into a rally, and nobody would be more surprised than everybody because that's how it works.
Catch me up real quick. Where are we with stocks?
Stocks are continuing to fall. We're down around 400,000 bags. And to make things more complex now, we're in beginning of June. Absent some other change out of Brussels, we will be back to EUDR at the end of the year, which means in September, people will start trying to preload coffee into the European warehouses to get it in ahead of the regulation.
Right.
And so that means less coffee going into certified stocks. That means less coffee going into just general pipeline. But it could also get pushed as it has the last 2 times.
Yeah.
Or canceled, or who knows?
I don't know.
Nobody knows. So that's what we're here to tell you that we don't know in a fun way. So, but I think we've done a good job here of trying to tell people how to view a complicated situation. And I think in this particular case, it's the same thing. It's just start with looking at it through the lens of your business and what kinds of volatility and uncertainty you can absorb and go from there.
Yeah.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks, Rob. You've been listening to Coffee Memo with Rob Stephen, part of the Covoya Coffee Podcasting Network, where the executive producer is me, Mike Ferguson. Our theme music is Jealous Dogs by The Pretenders. Jealous Dogs. That might be a good band name. Nah.
Black coffee.
If you've enjoyed this or any show on the Covoya Coffee Podcasting Network, please do all the things. Like, subscribe, review, don't keep us a secret, and take our listener survey at the link in the show notes. Finally, remember 2 things. You can email me with thoughts, ideas, kind words, and limericks at mike.ferguson@covoya.com. And Black Coffee is performed by the one, the only, Ella Fitzgerald. How's your headphones?
They've suffered trauma when they were young, but they seem to be recovering.
This has been a CCPN production.